Hey guys, it's me, Miss Mills, and the whole point of this video is to help you with estimating square roots. So last week we talked a lot about what a square was, what it meant when you squared a number, and what that means basically is if you square a number, let's say like 7, if you squared that number or you did it to the second power, that means you multiply it by itself, and that would equal 49. And then we talked about the opposite of squaring a number. We talked about square roots, which would be if we took the square root of 49, the answer would be 7. And we talked about what happens when they are opposite, when they are inverses, and that basically just means that they cancel out if you have them together. For example, if you have the square root of 49 squared, you would cancel them out because they're opposites, and the answer would just be the number in the middle. That was an IXL that y'all did last week. So today, though, we're going to focus on estimating square roots because not every square root is going to be a perfect square. We know that the square root of 49 is a perfect square because its answer is a whole number. Its 7 is a whole number. But the square root of 50, however, is going to be a decimal number. It's going to be 7.1 something something something. Therefore, since it is a decimal number, 50 cannot be a perfect square, but 49 is. Other examples of perfect squares would be 16. The square root of 16 is 4. 4 is a whole number. So just keep that in mind. But today we're estimating square roots. And guys, I'm going to be using the IXL F18. This IXL I'm going to be giving to you to complete on Monday. I'm going to do a few questions from that, and I hope that y'all are successful. When we're estimating square roots, though, you need to get out the notes that I gave you last week. If you are online, you should have had the notes written down. If you came to school, you have a foldable you can use, as well as the square roots notes page that I gave you has all the answers on that too. What I'm going to use though for this video is I'm going to use my iPad. I took a picture of square roots of perfect squares, and that's what I'm going to use. But y'all need to use the notes that I already gave you. But let's go ahead and get started. So let's go to this IXL that I gave you. And here would be something around the first question. It says, which two integers is the square root of 67 in between? So what you would do is you would go to your notes and you would find where the square root of 67 is in between what numbers. So let's go back to my iPad and let's find the square root of 67. It would be in between the square root of 64, which is 8, and between the square root of 81, which is 9. So we can go back to the IXL, and we would know that it was between 8 and 9. We can go ahead and submit that. So then what about the square root of 11? Well, we can go back to whatever notes page you are looking at, and the square root of 11 would be in between the square root of 9, which is 3, and the square root of 16, which is 4. So we can go back to that IXL, and we know it would be in between 3 and 4. So let's click that. Okay, now we have a negative number. What is the negative square root of 26 be in between? So let's go back to our notes. Let's find 26. It would be in between the square root of 25, which is 5, and the negative square root of 36, which would be negative 6. So we can go back and say it would be in between 6 and 5, negative 6 and 5. Let's jump a level real quick. And this time you're actually going to be typing in the numbers. What is negative square root of 76 in between? Let's go back to our notes then. So negative 76 would be in between negative the square root of 64, which would be negative 8, and negative square root of 81, which would be negative 1 or negative 9. So it would be in between those. So we can put negative 8 is less than negative, or no, it would be negative 9 is less than the negative square root of 76. Remember, it's opposite for negative numbers. And negative 8 would be greater than, and we can click that. If y'all have any questions about that, please contact me and we will get it together. But let's jump a level. And now we need to find which number is closest to this negative square root of 128. So now you need to know not only what is it in between, but which number is it actually closest to. So negative square root of 128, let's go back. That would be in between negative square root of 121, which would be negative 11, and negative square root of 144, which would be 12. So negative 11 and negative 12. It would be closer to negative 100 square root of 121, though. We do know that. So we can go ahead and get rid of the negative tens because it's not in between those numbers. It's in between negative 11 and negative 12, but again, it was closer to negative 11. So we can say it's closest to negative 11.3 or 3/10. Let's do one last question. What about negative square root of 112? So let's go back. Negative 112 would be in between negative square root of 100, which is negative 10, and negative square root of 121, which is 11. But it would be closer to negative 10. So let's go back to our IXL. We can go ahead and get rid of the 9.5 and negative 9.5 because, first of all, this is a positive. This is not in between 10 and 11. We can get rid of this one too because it's not a positive. So we know it has to be negative 10.5. Guys, I want you to reach this IXL to 90%. I hope this video helps, and I hope y'all have a great day. Remember, it's a beautiful day, and I hope to see you soon. Bye.